Everybody, how you doing? Okay, so Yusuf had just done a video about shunning, the practices of shunning, and he had mentioned, how it's used in an abusive way, really, um, like in terms of, I guess, Jehovah's Witnesses and Mormons, but then he had also mentioned Amish, and he was also talking about how, that there are some Amish who are just kind of a little fudgy about things, like they'll do things that technically will make something that's electrical, be usable, or they'll have their cell phones but only in the barn and stuff like that. And being that we're both from the Midwest, and I lived sometime in Indiana as well, I came across Amish all the time, especially since I'm a quilter. They're the people that you want to learn to quilt from. They're the people that you want to learn to cook from, because they're just such great cooks. And they always win all the prizes at like state fairs and stuff. And I remember just certain farmers markets that I would go to where, they would come and sell their eggs, or, even the Hooderites when I was in South Dakota, we would get Hooderite chickens. And I was around some Mennonites too. Uh, and I'd have to say, I grew up with a lot of respect for them, just because, they were a lot like Orthodox Jews that I knew. They were black, and they were non-electrical, right? Which, of course, we just did that, on Friday and Saturday, but it was something understandable to relate to, being true to conviction, that kind of thing. And then I always liked, their peace stance on things, and, that they baptize at 33, and, Rumspringa is kind of an interesting sort of a thing too. I don't know, I've always grown up with, a fair amount of respect for them, and kind of understood things from a certain point of view. I even had a friend when I was living in Indiana who'd actually gone and lived amongst the Amish for a period of time. And he talked about it very much like how someone would talk about like going to a monastery or something. Anyways, so right on the heels of that, I found this article that had to do with something that had started way back in like March. And you can't make up names like this. It's just too odd. Okay, so this happened in Cleveland, okay? Where one of my brothers lives, in the freezing cold. But he doesn't live amongst the Amish. Anyways, the Amish man, his name is Sam, Mullet. Could it not get any better than that? Senior. Okay. This guy, um, was really into a form of shaming people, and he's accused of like instructing his sons actually to go and cut the beards of these people who he felt had been, going against certain rules, having their pictures taken, using phones, wearing the wrong clothing, going to the movies, just, whatever it was. And then and this is so odd, that he would have photographs taken of them, which Amish aren't supposed to do that either, um, to shame them, to further shame them. And that, obviously, the cutting of the beard, that's not something that they do anyways. There was also another thing that happened with a woman who was shunned. She was like excommunicated, for like 2 weeks. And there was talk of how this man had, forced people to sleep in chicken coops as a form of punishment, and that like certain women he had coerced into having sex with them to teach them how to be better wives. All this weirdness. So they're being accused of the fact that these haircutting incidents are like hate crimes, absolutely hate crimes. And it just totally is bizarre to me that they're actually in the court system because they're very much against the government and courts and everything like that. And yet they're completely like going along with this. Yeah. So his name is Mullet. How you can't make stuff like this up. But anyway, I had never really heard about different uh, aspects of this, and then this came right up on the news. So there you go, Yusuf. Just like you said, all the shunning stuff. So there you go. All right. Well, I hope everybody's doing really well. Blessings of peace.